What is up, everybody? Renfail here, and I wanted to drop in and do kind of an ultimate beginner's guide to farming in Manor Lords, because some of it's explained out of the gate, some of it's not explained out of the gate, some of the stuff you have to learn through trial and error. Hopefully I can provide some tips. I'm still fairly early on in the game, but I feel like I offer a unique perspective because of that, because I'm approaching this from the newbie perspective, as opposed to someone who's already sunk hundreds of hours into it and is like, I know these 5 million things about crafting. Here's these 25 obscure facts. We're not going to do that. We're going to start with the very, very basics out of the gate. So, I have a small village here. You can see. We are surviving with one small field, or at least we have for 3 years. This is the 3rd year we have been in operation. Now, I'm choosing to use rotational grazing to help with the soil fertility. So the first 2 years I produced wheat. The 3rd year I've produced flax, which is used for fabrics and linen. Then I'm going to let this field go fallow for that next year, and I'm going to need to create another farm field to produce wheat while that field is in fallow. So this is the perfect time to actually do a field to show you what that looks like. So without further ado, let's see how this works. So you need a few things to build a field to make it produce for you. First and foremost, you need fertile ground. And when you start the game, it's going to tell you about this, but it's not actually going to show you until you go in here and click on a field. So you're going to go to crafting, construction, up here to farming. Click on the field part where you can grow crops including wheat, flax, and barley, eventually rye, I think, things of that nature. You're going to click this, and now it's going to pop up this map that shows you the fertility of the zone you're in. Green is good, red is bad. In this case, red was like where I built my village, because I knew I wasn't ever going to be planting anything in the direct vicinity of the village. Now I had some green right here, so that's where I put my very first field. And it tells you out of the gate that you need about 1 morgan of land for a small settlement. So I've sort of roughly guesstimated that it takes about 1 person per 1 morgan of land to properly harvest the crop before the winter sets in, so that you don't lose any of the crop and have to like burn it or sacrifice it. So just keep that in the back of your mind. That may change throughout more testing, but from what I've seen, it's about 1 person per 1 morgan of land. So I've got 1 morgan of land already set up, and that's what I'm currently farming. So if I wanted to do another one, like let's say I wanted to use the same farmhouse and windmill and everything else, which is a good idea to do because we've already built the road structures. So this is something they don't tell you in the tutorial that I've learned, is that when you build a field, it does tell you that you need a farmhouse. Great. So you build a farmhouse right next to the field, and that's where you store the things that are harvested from the field. Now from here, it depends on what you've produced for the year, where that goes and how it's used. So if I were to produce wheat as an example, the wheat would get stored here in the storage, but only if I have someone manning the farmhouse. So you have to actively make sure that you have someone that's manning the farmhouse to be able to store things in here. Now, we're not actually harvesting right yet. They harvest in September. We're in August right now, so I'll be able to do a fast forward sequence and show you what the harvesting season looks like here in a minute, but I just wanted to get some of the logistical stuff out of the way first. So, you need a farmhouse, and you need someone at the farmhouse so that they are there to bring things in, to plant, to all these other things. That's why I go 1 person per 1 morgan of land. Now, you're also going to need, if you want to produce more fields, more productive, be more productive with your fields, you're going to need to spend a production development point in this thing called heavy plow, which allows you to use oxen at your farmhouse to cultivate your fields faster, as well as bring the crops back to storage more efficiently. This is a big thing if you're going to be farming huge tracts of land, as they would say in Monty Python. Get that closed down. The other thing is that if you're going to take wheat and you're going to put it in the farmhouse, you then have to thresh it and turn it into something that can be used for food. They don't tell you this in the tutorial. So in the farmhouse, there is an advanced tab where you will find threshing and a priority that it is set at. It's typically set at medium, and this means that they will thresh the wheat sometime after harvest, but it's not a high priority. If you want them to do it right after harvest, you just set this to high, They will immediately thresh the wheat. Then once it's available to be threshed, it can then be used at the windmill to be turned into flour, which can then be used for bread. But in order to do that, you need someone who's at the windmill actively working. So we would need to assign a worker here from somewhere else. I think I would have to rob him from perhaps log storage. So we'll remove him from there. He should automatically have joined here. Good to go. And then if I was producing wheat this year, what it would do is they would harvest the field, they would store it in the farmhouse, it would then get threshed shortly after harvest, and it would then get turned into flour at the mill. And then if I also had somebody at the communal oven, if I also had someone equipped here, they would start baking using the flour from the windmill in a nice efficient chain. But you got to have the people set up in the right places for all of that to work. So that's great for now. Let's go ahead and unassign him from there, and let's assign him to the field for right now. Actually, we'll just assign one person to the field next. What I want to do is, we're coming up on the harvest season. What's important to know is that autumn is also for harvesting, plowing, and sowing crops. So since I want to build a new crop, because this crop is going to go fallow here pretty soon. I think next year we've got it set to go fallow. What that means is, in terms of rotational grazing, I may have mentioned this earlier. We'll take a look at that in greater detail in a minute. But fields have certain levels of fertility, and you can harvest something, but then there are occasional years when you don't want to grow anything in that field because you want to let it rejuvenate and recover its fertility. So when we went into this build earlier, we noticed that this was yellow, which is not the greatest thing. But I do want to share the farmhouse that's right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build right along the road. So we're going to build something like this. And then I'm going to make it a skinny field. It's not quite 1 Morgan. It's like 0.7 Morgan, which is fine. Then I'm going to choose to build that. Now, once it's built, it says fallow. I need to click on that and select a crop to grow, and it's going to show me percentiles for what's going to grow there best. So we're going to choose to grow wheat in this one the first year. We're going to tell it to do crop rotation. We're going to do wheat that year, and then we're going to go fallow that 3rd year, and then we're going to leave it like that. So if we look at the other one, we have it producing wheat this year, fallow next year. So this one is going to produce wheat next year, wheat the following year, while this one is fallow over here. So we're good to go. So once you've set that all up, what we're going to do here is we're going to unpause the game, and we're going to speed it up, and we're going to watch our workers come in here and harvest in real time, because we are now in September. Let that go here. So they're currently harvesting all of the flax, and you're going to watch here in a minute. They're going to deposit it in this farmhouse, and then they're going to get to planting for the following season. And notice they all use the road. That's something they don't tell you in the tutorial as well, is that you should be putting roads as often as possible everywhere, especially with your fields and everything else, because your workers will use the roads to get back. All right, see, so they're planting 2 fields right now. They're getting this field ready because we're going to be planting wheat this next year. This year we're going to be planting wheat. Hang on, let me make sure that that's right. This one actually needs to go wheat 3rd year as well, and that one goes fallow. That's what it is. All right, I had misclicked on that. So they're going to be producing these 2 fields for me and getting them ready for the next year. So once they finish planting, quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand, which is going to run all the way through November. And hopefully I've got enough workers assigned to get this done. We should be okay. I've got some stocks getting exposed. I'm not too worried about that right now. The big thing is getting the fields plowed and planted so that we're good to go for next year. So we've got a couple of fields here now. This is probably more than I need for production of my current facilities, but that's okay because it's never a bad thing to have excess because you can always expand from there and build more buildings and hire more workers and everything else to get you up to speed and fulfill all of your needs. So hopefully this quick little intro into farming in Manor Lords gets you up to speed with everything you need to know to skip past the learning curve and go from there. Obviously, there are more advanced tactics that we can talk about in farming in later episodes, but this is called the Ultimate Beginner's Guide for a reason, so we kept things really simple in this one. So there you have it, everybody. Rotational crop grazing, putting your fields next to roads, make sure you have people assigned at your proper stations. I guess the other final thing I could say too is like your windmill, because you're only going to be you're never going to use the windmill unless you have something that's already been ready and converted, threshed and ready to be converted into flour. So there's no reason to have anybody assigned at the windmill in between the harvesting seasons. And the same thing goes here. Once they've finished up all of this stuff, you don't need them harvesting any more crops. So once we get past the harvesting, plowing, sowing crops, etc., and you're going somewhere else, like summertime, we could unassign these families in the summertime so that they can be used somewhere else because they're not going to be doing any active harvesting or anything at the field when it's active summertime. So that's something to think about too once they finish up getting everything planted. Winter's approaching. I don't know if we're going to get this second field finished. I might need to assign more people. We'll see. Go. Come on, guys. We'll see. You've got like 1 month left. They might get both the fields. We'll see. My estimate is still holding true of like one person. It's like one per Morgan, roughly. All right, so this southern field looks like it's pretty much done. They've got a little bit left on the northern field. Let's see if they finish it before December hits. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close, everybody. Look at them go. There's still some people in the so they must be planting maybe still. Ooh, we're almost there. Are we gonna be able to plant all the fields? I might fail in my own guide that I'm doing for people, which is great. Shows you early access. Everybody's still a noob, including me. All right, they're all hustling. Go. You guys can get it planted. You got like 1 week or left or whatever. All right, so if we look at this field, it's good to go. This one they are still planting on. Its yield is going to be 0 at the moment. This is... Oh, that's because we haven't done the yield yet. You can also first force it early harvest if you want, but I don't see any reason to do that. All right, I think they have finished because they've just headed off down the road. And we're still clearing up in November. So there you have it, everybody. We can actually unassign these people now because they're done. We've planted all the crops. It's now winter time. Everyone's going to hunker up indoors and survive the winter. So there you have it, everybody. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for following along. There's a Discord, there's a Patreon. Hopefully we'll see you in the next live stream here and on Twitch. Stay safe, everybody. Have fun.